Now, our next guest is on a mission to help save the planet, and he's doing it in spectacular style.
Craig Leeson is an Aussie filmmaker, and he's been scaling peaks around the world for his new documentary.
And director of the Last Glaciers, Craig Leeson, joins us now from Paris. Hello to you, Craig. You initially went to France for extreme sports. How did that turn into a documentary about climate change?
Yeah, that's a good story. We came to do a documentary on para-alpinism, which is this brand new extreme sport which involves mountaineering and ice climbing and paragliding. But when we came to film in the Alps in the middle of winter, instead of seeing white, we just saw brown. And as I investigated why, I spoke to locals who work in the mountains and scientists and meteorologists who told me this had been going on for decades, and it was in fact because of climate. So I started to look at the climate issue. I didn't know much about it before, and what I found in the science absolutely shocked me. So my producer and I thought the issue was so important, we decided to pivot the documentary from being just about extreme sports to being about the climate crisis.
Yeah. And tell us just how quickly these glaciers are disappearing and what it means for us. Put it in perspective.
Yeah, that's a good question. They're disappearing very quickly, which is why we are using them in the film as a visual reference, because you can actually see them going. And I say in the film they're not disappearing, I say they're dying, because that's what's happening. If you go to somewhere like Peru, for example, which has 68% of the world's tropical glaciers, in 1990s they had more than 700 measured by satellite in the Andes. But today, when we went there to visit and film, there were less than 350 glaciers left. And the scientific organisation that's looking at how to mitigate this problem says that it's most likely they'll all be gone by the end of the century. And likewise with the Himalaya, it's lost 25% of its ice since the 1970s. And this is a place that's called the third pole because it has so much ice. And by the end of the century, it will have lost about 2/3 of its ice. The reason that's critical for us is because these are our water storage devices. Places like Peru, all of their water comes from glacier melt. A lot of the products that 2 billion people around the world use, like T-shirts, which require 10,000 litres of water to make, the food that we eat, comes from the Hindu Kush region, a belt of great agricultural significance in Asia. But that is all being jeopardized as the glacier water disappears, runs into the ocean, and causes sea levels to rise.
Yeah, and it's taken for granted for so many years by so many people, and it's people like you that we need to raise awareness. Craig, thank you very much for your time. Congratulations on the documentary.
Thank you very much.
Craig's film, The Last Glaciers, is in IMAX theatres from today.